Good evening. Thank you, everyone, for joining us here at the 8 o'clock edition of Atlanta News First Plus. We are going to dive into some things. Okay, just want to make sure that that's right. We're on the air. Yes, we are. So let's roll with it. I do want to dive into some numbers. We had a lot of rain over the course of the last 3 days. This was a combination of a boundary that moved through, but also it interacted with tropical moisture out ahead of Hurricane Helene, and then we had Helene itself bring us a lot of rain. So I wanted to give you guys an update on where some of those totals stand, and we picked up nearly 14 inches of rain. This was an actual observation in McDonough. Not only us here at Atlanta News First, but through our partners with the National Weather Service. There are spotters located all across North Georgia, and those folks actually, they take observations for us: temperature, wind, all of that stuff, rain. When there's snow, snow. So this is all stuff that is verified. We picked up 13.2 essentially inches of rain in Brasstown. East Point picked up nearly 12 3/4 inches of rain, and about 12 1/2 inches of rain was measured at Stone Mountain. So these are the highest totals that we've seen across our area, but a lot of folks fell closer to that 10-inch mark, like out in Tucker, where they picked up nearly 10.9 inches of rain over the course of the last 3 days. Hapeville picked up nearly 10 1/2, and straight up at 10 for the most part out in Brookhaven. Just under 10 in Dallas and Alpharetta, about 9 1/2 inches of rain in Griffin. So it has just been a very soggy, saturated couple of days as this system continues to spin. It is now post-tropical, which means that it's just not, obviously not tropical, but tropical lows, pretty much they're stacked perfectly. These type of lows, it's kind of merging with another system, a parent upper level low, and it's a little bit displaced from its center. You can see that the center isn't closed. There's not what's closed, but it doesn't have rain and thunderstorms wrapped around it. So it's different structurally, so to speak, and that's how they determine if something is a tropical low or a non-tropical low. Nonetheless, it's producing a lot of rain. That's the big takeaway, and the winds are roughly 30-35 miles per hour in it. So it's still going to produce some issues for some folks. Thankfully, here in North Georgia, we're getting sprinkles here. They're very light sprinkles, but it's going to be a possibility as we head through the next few hours. The winds are still a little breezy across North Georgia, specifically at higher elevations. We're seeing those gusts 20-25 miles per hour. Other than that, it's going to be a night that's quite comfortable. Temperatures fall into the mid-60s. We're calling it partly cloudy through the overnight, and as we head through the next couple of days, rain chances are just going to be very limited. Nothing really to talk about, no first alerts, just some hit or miss spotty showers. Mainly as Helene swirls to the north of us, some of those outer bands may fly through extreme North Georgia, and that's where that rain chance comes from as we head through the day tomorrow. So let's walk you through your Saturday hour by hour. Folks to the south and east, in places like Athens, Edenton, you'll see more sunshine than folks that are in places like Gainesville, Helen, and Ellijay. Just the cloud deck will be a little bit thicker, but the clouds sink further south and east as we head through the day, which is why we're calling it partly cloudy, and then that spotty rain chances around as we head into the afternoon. Everybody trends drier through the overnight. So the rain is not going to be a big issue for us. It's not going to add any accumulation. That's the biggie right now, because with all of this rain that we've seen, the water has run off in a lot of places. It is still in the process of running off in others, and that means that some of these creeks, streams, tributaries, rivers, they're all going to potentially rise a little bit more depending on where they're located. And as that process happens, that means some folks can still see the water come up a little bit. In other areas, it's already crested and it's starting to recede, but any rain that's substantial would actually cause an increase. So limited rain, sprinkles, we're good with that. Tomorrow's going to be a nice day. We get into the mid to upper 70s in the afternoon. Gorgeous beyond the clouds that push through in the afternoon. I think we'll see a little bit more sunshine on Sunday. Temperatures warm a little bit more. I think most of us flirt with 80 degrees as we head into the afternoon hours. It's another day where we're going with the 20% chance of a spotty shower, because those outer rain bands with Helene will still be rotating to the north of us, and we're going to be close enough that a couple of showers could fire up as it's interacting with the environment that we have here. Other than that, the forecast is a wind. Temperatures are going to be a little bit below average, or pretty close to average. We should be in the low 80s this time of year. As we head into next week, a lot of dry time, a lot more sunshine. That gives us time to clean up from some of the issues that we've experienced across our area, and it's pretty much a win. We are still keeping an eye on the tropics. There's been a lot going on. Obviously, Helene was our primary focus, so we didn't really start talking about Isaac and Joyce. Isaac's been out there for a couple days now. It's not going to really impact anybody. It's moving off to the north. And then Tropical Storm Joyce developed today, and it is looking like it is not going to be an issue for anyone either, at least not immediately, definitely not for us. Something that we are keeping an eye on is the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean, because a lot of the models are starting to pick up on the potential for a system to try to organize next week, and the National Hurricane Center is giving that a 30% chance of development. So no reason to panic, fret, or any of that. It's just more so like this is the next thing that we're watching. We'll see if that will eventually impact us. We want to see more data before we actually say say anything, but that's what we're seeing right now. Hey, Raina, thank you for joining us in the YouTube chat. I would love for you to expand on your thoughts. We could have that open conversation here. But other than that, the weather here is going to trend a whole lot quieter. It's going to be a whole lot drier, and we're all going to, have some time to kind of get everything in order. I'm going to go back to the 7-day forecast real quick, give Raina Mansauer, an opportunity to expound on their thoughts. And if not, I always say that I'm going to keep you for a good time, not a long time. That's especially true today because, we have been having your attention for the last part of, I'd say, 3 or 4 days. We've been doing a lot of streams. They've been long streams. And we thank you guys for coming with us and trusting us for your source of weather and information. But we don't want to hold you longer than we have to. And it's Friday, so we know y'all have things to do, places to go, and people to see. Gave you an opportunity, Rana, to expand, but looks like you've gone silent, so I'm going to leave you all to your Friday evening. Our prayers, of course, and thoughts are with I think we have 15 people confirmed in the state of Georgia who lost their lives, but so far I think nationwide it's over 40. And while we are dealing with a lot of issues in our area, I don't know if you've actually been to X, Twitter, whatever you call it, Asheville, North Carolina, Boone, North Carolina, some of those images, that's center of the storm. And if you were with us, we were saying it was shifting further east. Even though the cone didn't really shift a whole lot east, we were saying that our guidance was telling us that it would. Our thoughts and prayers are with those folks because they're actually getting the worst of this storm. And although we've had a lot that has happened in our area, there was a lot, obviously, that happened in South Georgia. They got the worst. But as far as the inland impacts far up, we have a lot of damage around here. We have a lot of downed trees. We have a lot of flooding issues. But the images out of Asheville, North Carolina, are they're heartbreaking to say the very least. So if you have time, check that out. All right, guys. You guys have a fantastic Friday. Of course, we will have an update for you tonight on Peachtree TV at 10 and on Atlanta News First at 11.